What's going on, Coach?
What's up with you, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Shoot, it's been a minute.
Yes, bro. It's been a minute.
Been a minute, man. Welcome to the 81 Podcast. Your host, Asif Ali. I'm here with my former coach, San Jose City College, and the NFL, NCAA Division One and JUCO wide receiver coaching extraordinaire, Coach Keith K. Dubb Williams. Coach Dubb, man, great having you on the show.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you too, bro. Man, Coach, bro. Oh my God, yeah,
Hey,
we have
look,
to.
if I get distracted, I got two things going on.
Yeah,
My daughter's dog is all over me. He be trying to go out, and I gotta take him out. And so, I can't even see myself on here. Like my picture's not on here. I see you
yeah,
in the
yeah,
big. Okay, 'cause I
yeah.
don't want. I'm about to text her and tell her to come take him out.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. No, I mean you're good right now. So I mean. But yeah, man. I mean, Coach, man, how you been? So, man, ever since S08, man, I just I went to West Valley and I got a couple of these guys in the AIF and the RFL. So rest is history. But I mean, you went on and did bigger things, like shit.
Yeah. I got some good opportunities. So yeah, it ended up being pretty good.
Hell yeah. And I mean, we'll get into that a bit. But I just I just want the viewers to know kind of my first. I didn't get to play football in high school. I went around to a bunch of JUCOs. I bounced around. I tried to see if Chabot would take me outside of DVC because I'm from the East Bay, and none of those schools would take me. And then I finally worked my way around to South Bay because it would just happen by chance. 'Cause I had to take a prereq, to graduate. Because I was kind of doing like I graduated early from high school, but I was trying to also finish up my math requirement. And then Coach Connor in the San Jose City College program in spring 2008 were willing to give me a shot. And Coach Dubb was actually my first coach, when I was playing wideout. So
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that spring
yeah,
ball,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So obviously, Coach. I mean, the viewers don't know, but I mean, Strick, Dimitri, Larry,
yeah,
you know, you
yeah.
know, all the guys. Welker, you remember Welker? God
I remember
damn.
Welker. Yeah.
It
Hey, it was a crew.
was a crew, man.
It was a
Shit.
crew. Yeah,
It
it
was a
was a
crew,
crew.
man. And
Let
then you
me
got
now.
me.
Is there a reason why I can't see myself on that little bottom one?
I don't think you have your video on.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. See, I
What do
see,
I
see, I
what,
see.
what do I
There should
need to
be
do?
there should be like a little button where it says like you press the video.
Oh, man, oh, wow.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah,
Shit,
yeah,
what's up? What's
yeah,
good, Coach?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Coach, man, you
yeah.
look
Definitely,
exactly the same. Goddamn.
man. Hey, it's all on the outside.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, what's funny, Coach? After I posted the announcement for this show, Brett Swain liked it, and then I hit him up, and he's gonna be coming on the show next week on Wednesday. So
Hey, Swain is my guy.
yeah,
Swain is definitely my guy. Um, that's good. He'll be he'll be good. He'll be a good guest because he's definitely wide outs and he's definitely he knows his stuff and he's doing good out there in San Diego.
yeah, he is, man. And he's a Super Bowl champion. So
Correct. Hey, correct the window.
correct the mundo, man. So
So um, like I said, man, forgive me, man. I'm trying to get set up here.
oh, you're right. No,
So
take your time.
I don't want to come across as a weenie. I'm trying to I'm trying to dodge this damn dog because what happens is my my daughter and my wife they go upstairs
Hmm.
and so for the dog to go out, you got to go out through the little sliding door or whatever. And I'm the
Yeah,
only one downstairs.
yeah,
So when he got to go, I'm the one got to get up and let him out because I'm the only one downstairs.
yeah.
So that kind of like it gets on my nerves.
You
So
all right,
so
Coach?
when you're doing something that you're trying to do, right in the middle of it, here come the dog. You know what I mean? So it's
Motherfucker,
like,
pain in the ass. God damn it. You know what I'm saying?
man, it ain't my dog. You know what I mean? I keep on trying to reiterate to my daughter, like, this is your dog.
Yeah,
So you should be the one bending over backwards, making it happen for the dog. It's your dog.
exactly.
But yeah, so I think I should be straight now. Let me see. good.
All right, now we good. All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. So yeah, coach, man. Yeah, so like we were talking about, obviously San Jose City College, you're my first coach, but I want to actually go back in time to actually your early beginnings, your early years. Kind of you actually played in the NFL for a little bit before you got into coaching. So
I,
kind of talk to me about your early life and kind of what got you into the sport of football and kind of your playing career prior to coaching.
well, I was raised in Stockton, California.
Yes, sir.
Play high school ball there.
Yes, sir.
I actually moved from San Diego to Stockton. My mother and father divorced when I was 12, and we were living in San Diego. So from age 2 to age 12, I lived in San Diego, and then my mother and I moved to Stockton when my father and her divorced because her side of the family lived in Stockton.
Hmm.
And so I got to Stockton the seventh grade, stayed there through junior high, high school, played. Then I ended up going back to San Diego State for
Yeah.
college.
Yeah.
And so played there with a lot of good guys. You know, had a decent career, had a chance to go play for the Redskins for a quick sec.
Yeah.
Played some CFL, played in some World League, and then played some arena ball. And so, um, I had a good time as an athlete, as a wideout. And then when I finished, I still needed 2 classes to obtain my degree. So I went back, got my degree, and I got into coaching.
There you go. You know what I mean? And so, and that's exactly kind of my story. Well, I mean, this never really ain't about me, but just kind of parallels that stuck in my mind. I went and got these two, and then I
Yeah.
went ahead and then after I was just cause I had the option to either go transfer to 4 year or go to the SaberCats combine because they're coming back in 2010, right? Because Pappin was starting the Wolves,
Right, right,
and
right,
and the
right.
20 and obviously I was there for a little bit, and then I didn't make the cut, but I was able to get the Cal Eagles when the Stockton Wolves rebranded in 2012. So I kept pursuing that while doing part time student enrollment, kind of working at Pizza Hut, and then I was able to get this motherfucker, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go back to school and get a real job. So, I mean, so,
Right,
but
right, right,
yeah,
right.
exactly. So yeah, no, I mean that's cool, man. So, all right, so at that point, you finish your degree, you're done
Right.
playing, and then
Yes.
now we're getting to coaching. So, kind of, what was your first coaching opportunity,
My
and how do you get?
first coaching opportunity was, so I was in San Diego. I just finished my degree. My wife, who's my wife now, she and I were, we're a couple,
Yeah.
and my son was born at that time.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
so my son was born. He was about 8 months old, and a real good friend of mine back it because I'm living in San Diego. I just finished real good friend of mine, Booker Guyton, who lived in Stockton, was just offered a head coaching job at Brookside Christian High School to start their football program. They didn't even have a team
Wow.
because it was a super duper small private school. It only had 100 students, 50 boys and 50 girls,
Wow.
and they had no team, no pads, no field, no nothing.
Mhm.
And they asked him to start the program. It was a private school, Brookside Christian, and so he called me and asked, would I come up there and help him get it going? And so I did. And so I ended up going up there and being and coaching wideouts with him and teaching math. I taught
Mhm.
math for 3 years, and so that was my first actual coaching job. And Booker Guyton, my boy, he's a really good friend of mine. He gave me an opportunity.
Very nice. And so,
Yeah.
and Bert Garden, I mean, I'm sure that he must have put in a good word for you, kind of based on your performance there, or kind of, would you say that the record or the reputation that you built, from that first coaching and gig, over there, would you say it was more reputation, or would you say it was kind of the word of mouth, or kind of how did that lead to the next coach opportunity?
Uh, it wasn't reputation because I really didn't have a reputation, at that point per se, because it was a small school. Now we did have some guys go on to 4 year uh, universities for football, on scholarship. We did sign some guys, out of that school, even though it was a real small school and a real small team. I actually had a wideout go to Miami out of there. He's a parade All American.
Okay.
Uh, had another had another wideout go to Idaho State on his same team the same year. So we had some guy. We had a quarterback go to Oregon out of there. Um, so we had some play. We made it work. We ended up being pretty good. The first year was rough, obviously, because we didn't even have a team. Like there was no one on the team who ever played football. Like the ex was a soccer player. You know, you know what I mean, the all the line, the O line, the line, the O line and D line. or basketball players and
Yeah.
wrestlers. I mean, there was no football players on the team, and so that first year was rough, but we had fun. It was, it was high school football is pure. So
Yeah.
as long as everybody, whoever comes out there, we're gonna coach and we're gonna play hard, and that's what we did. And so the next 2 years, we end up being pretty good, going to the playoffs and that kind of thing. And then the head coach left, and he went on to another school that was kind of a bigger school. He saw that as Booker left. He saw that as kind of a like a better opportunity in terms of just exposure and the type of school, and where you can actually end up in the long run. And so from that point, I didn't really know what to do, and I end up no my wideout coach, who's basically my father, uh is Curtis Johnson.
Hmm.
He was my wideout coach at San Diego State.
Yeah.
He's the wideout coach now at the Saints, New Orleans Saints. At the time, he was the wideout coach at the University of Miami.
Okay.
So at that crossroad, when Book left and went to another school, I called him, and I was just kind of asking what kind of advice that he may have for me. And he said he knew somebody who was the head coach at Solano Junior College,
Hmm.
who had just became the head coach at Solano Junior College, which was only, it's uh right under it's right under Vallejo, which is like 45 minutes, 50
Yeah.
minutes from Stockton. It's right
You,
there.
you're right there.
So he put me in touch with that coach, and so I ended up going to Solano the next year.
It's crazy that you're mentioning that because the second game I had with the Vikings 2009 after you left for Fresno, when I went over to West Valley, the second game I played, first game we played was against Chabot, second game we played was against Solano, and
Yeah,
so I just remember that drive up. So I mean,
yeah,
you always
yeah,
yeah, but obviously from the South Bay, it's like almost 2 hours, but like from Stockton, it ain't that
yeah.
far. So yeah,
Nah, it's not. It's just like you take like a Highway 12. It's just like one of those kind of those cross land 2-lane highways. You just
yeah,
take that straight out. You run right into it. Fairfield, Fairfield, Vallejo, right there.
yes sir, right there, man. So. So,
Hmm.
so, so now you're in JUCO ball, that's where
Yeah,
where we met and everything. So yeah, kind of talk to me about kind of what the experience like, your first kind of coaching gig at JUCO with Solano.
it was good. The head coach name was A.K. Martinez. He's a good friend of mine to this day. He was a Cal grad. He had GA'd at Cal,
Yeah.
and so he was really smart, really good guy. And so I went there and coached Whitehouse for 1 year, and I had a whiteout. He ended up going to Hawaii from there.
Yeah.
Good player.
Yeah.
And we weren't really good record wise, but we played hard. It's JC is kind of a commuter type JC is, so it's not really a big time football school in terms of tradition. But the guys we had played hard. We didn't have many of them. We probably only had about 35 dudes,
Mhm.
but they all played hard. And when you play, this as well as I do. When you play JC ball, number one, you love football.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Say that shit, coach.
Hey, you play JC football, you love football,
Yes, sir.
and you believe you have some unfinished business with football in terms of your future, in terms of how you want to end up your career.
Yes,
You feel
sir.
like you have unfinished business, so you committed to that. And then if you play JC ball at a small JC, you really really love football
Exactly.
because now it's you versus yourself, because there's no other incentive to have, because even the outside factors aren't there in terms of being a big JC and dorms, or one of those JCs where 50 D1 guys are going through there, or whatever the case may be. When you play at a small JC, you don't even have that. And so if you still continue for your football career at that type of JC, you really 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 love football,
Yeah.
and you really really are betting on yourself. And so we had a team full of those kind of guys, and uh they played hard, and we had some good games. And like I said, we had some guys leave and go on and play football at 4-year school, so it was good. And so what happened was, to lead me to the next place, is the quarterback we had at Brookside when I coached high school. He went to Oregon. He left Oregon and he came back to JC.
Yeah.
And so when he bounced back from Oregon, he came to Solano, where I was
Wow.
at,
Yeah.
and he was a really good player. And so when he came to Solano, he played, and he was a good player. And so when he got ready to decide where to go as a 4 year for his 4 year, he wanted me there with the home visits of the
Yeah.
coaches he was getting recruited by. And
Yep.
so and so uh uh when San Jose State recruited him, they had a new coach, Fitz Hill.
Yeah.
So Fitz came in to do the home visit, and you know, he had just got hired at San Jose State.
Yeah.
And so the home visit was good. I said, gosh, I better talk. I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, man, I want to coach D1, you know. So I walked him out to this car when he left. I said, hey coach, I congratulations on getting the job. I'm just curious as to if you have a whiteout coach or not yet. And he said, yeah, I'm gonna retain the whiteout coach that's there because he's also the recruiting coordinator, and I kind of just want to keep him there as a liaison, and keep some kind of continuity with the recruiting, and as far as that's concerned, to just kind of make it a smooth transition so we don't fall behind, because he was from the South and all the coaches he was getting was from going to be from the South.
Yeah.
So he was smart enough to know that I better keep somebody from the West Coast around,
Yeah.
just to at least bridge that gap. And so he said, but you could be a GA.
Yep.
And and this is back in the day when my perception of GA was like, nah, I ain't being no GA. You know what I mean? That was my perception. Like, nah, I'm not being no GA because I'm I'm not being a GA. So I like, coach, I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm interested in being a GA. He said, all right. So, that's like January, right? So I go and I talk to a buddy of mine who I used to turn to for advice in these kind of areas, like to make sure, am I looking at this right? So I tell him that story, and he says, Dubb, you looking at it wrong. He said, even though you got guys, like I said, I was at a school that had 100 students. I had a whiteout go to Miami.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His trips were Miami, Florida State, Michigan, USC, and Oregon. Yeah, he
Yes,
went to the
sir.
U. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
sir.
He went to the 30 for 30 U.
Yes, sir.
So so in my mind, I'm thinking I'm a successful coach. You know, I got dudes getting scholars. So I'm just waiting for a coach to come knock on my door and say, hey, you getting guys scholars. You must be a hellified coach.
Yeah.
And so my boy, his name is Rudy. My boy said, Dubb, it don't work like that.
Mhm.
A lot of guys are coaching guys who get scholarships that may not even be a good coach. So that's not the criteria. He
Right.
said, in this profession, you got to get in where you fit. You just got to get your foot in the door first, and
Mhm.
then decide, what angle to take, or what your approach is going to be. Once you're inside,
Bingo.
then you decide on your approach and what's important to you. Then I said, gosh, Rudy, you're right. So this is like a couple months later. So I said, man, it's probably too late. So I hit Fitzhill again, and I said, hey, coach, I'm interested in being a GA if that opportunity is still there. This is
Yeah.
like May now.
Yeah.
And he says, Keith, you know what? You're not gonna believe this. The whiteout coach left.
Oh.
He went to West Hills to be the
What?
head coach because that's the area he was from.
Yeah.
So he went to West Hills to be the head coach.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hire another whiteout coach. I'm a coach whiteouts because the head coach was a whiteout coach by position.
Right.
He had been a wideout coach at Arkansas for 15 years. He had survived 3 head coaches at Arkansas. He was a dog. Fitz Hill, great dude, great guy. I learned a lot from him. So he says, you know what? I'm not even gonna hire another wideout coach
Yeah.
at this point. He said, I'll just coach him. You be my assistant.
Mhm.
I said, all right. But he said you'll still be a GA, but it'd be more assistant to me than just a general GA.
Yeah.
I said, okay. So I get there, and the first two, he's the head coach though, brand new head coach at that. So he doesn't know he can't coach a position.
Yeah.
He thinks he can, but he doesn't know he can't. You know what I mean?
Right.
'Cause as the head coach,
Yeah.
you can't meet with him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the first 2 days he coaches them, and I'm like, his assistant and helping him, and I'm inputting. I'm running one side of the drills, and I'm working, but he's meeting with him. It's his direction. Everything is going through him. Verbally in the meeting room and everything. And so after the second day, he says, "Okay, you got him right now. I got to go do this." So then, and when it's time to meet, go meet with him because I got to go do this. So about the fourth practice, he's like, Dubb, you got him because I can't be in there. I'm the head coach. I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
So he says, you got him. And so, at this point, I had never even ran a meeting in my life. I'm coming,
Man.
I'm coming, I'm coming from a JC in the
Yeah.
hood. We weren't like meeting. You know what I mean? you know, you know
You already know.
yeah, we weren't meeting, and we were watching game film and practice a little bit of that. I mean, we weren't meeting. I would have little whiteout meetings at Solano. Just they weren't structured and time based and watching film and there was no agenda to them. It was just all freestyle. And so he says,
Yeah.
"You got him."
Yeah.
He says, "You got him." And so I'm walking in there now. I like what is a meeting? Like, what am I doing? Like, how do you run a meeting? How do you run a like? What film do we watch? How much film do we watch? How do you install? What do I say? What's important? How should they sit? They don't even know me as the coach. They know me as the GA. They see me as a GA when I was
Yeah.
introduced to them as a GA. So, I don't even know what my authority impact is. And so I just did me. I didn't have any reference. I just did what I thought was right every day. I just was myself. It ended up being a blessing because I didn't have this mold that sometimes GAs get of the type of coach you have to be.
Yeah.
Because I never learned that.
Yeah.
I was thrown in the fire, so I never had the luxury to sit back and say, okay, when this happens, use these buzzwords. When this happens, act this way. I never learned that, so I was just myself, and so it ended up being pretty good. I had three seniors that year. All three of them went to the league. One senior broke the record. He had 83 grabs, 1,500 yards, and 14 tinkers. So, and the whole time I'm living in my car. I didn't even
Damn,
have an
man.
apartment. I'm living in my
Man.
car and I'm living in a team room. Every day I didn't have an apartment because I'm
Man.
I'm I'm making GA money and we in San Jose.
Yeah, you basically living
So
homeless.
correct the mundo.
Yeah.
I had a 91 Honda Accord with bubble tint.
Yeah.
I had all my clothes, every single one. No one could sit in the car in the front seat nowhere because everything was in the front seat, the
Man.
back seat, and the trunk. Nobody like if somebody was like getting chased by Freddy Krueger and wanted to me to give him a ride, they would have to like sit on my lap in the car. Like no one can fit in the car. I had half my clothes in my coach's locker room. So, you know, a coach's locker room, you have school issued gear.
Yeah.
My locker had like pajamas in it, sweats,
Mhm.
leather coat. Like my real clothes were in my
Yeah.
coach's locker.
Yeah.
What I mean? Like I slept in the team room on the couch every night, and
Right.
like the cleaning people would clean up at 2 in the morning, and they like come in there, and they'd be scared because they like the lady would all like until she got to know the situation. Every night I scare her because she turns a light on at 2 in the morning. It's like some dude sleeping on the couch. And she like for like a week straight. For a week straight, she get scared every time she flicked the light on to
Yeah.
vacuum. I'm in there like knocked out. You know what I mean? Then she finally realized this dude must live here. You know what I mean? she because at one point she just flicked the light on to start vacuuming, like she never even said anything. She was like, I guess this guy lives here. And and my best friend Swanee Curtis Shear, I who I played with at San Diego State. He lived in San Jose at the time,
Yeah.
and so every once in a while I would go, stay with him.
Yeah.
But 95% of the time I was sleeping in the team room, coaching these dudes as a GA, and it was just grimy and raw. But it was freestyle, and I was coaching and coaching hard, and that's all I cared about.
Yes,
And
sir.
so after that year, I went full time, and I coached there for 3 more years. So that was really good. Then that led me to San Jose JC.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So that's yeah,
And
yeah.
those connections you made, obviously at San Jose State, like James Jones. I just I remember that you won the New Mexico Bowl, which means that you guys snapped a however many losing streak in the and obviously in the bowl season because that 2006 team, you had James Jones, Adam Tafralis, Team Taft, all them
Well,
dogs.
I was at City then though.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you are. Yeah. Oh, sir.
But I was working Dingo and those guys out every day. That's how you knew them
Yeah.
because
I
they
was
would
like,
come
damn.
over. Yeah, yeah, they would come over the city and practice with us.
Exactly, yo, coach, and this is what the story which I tell everyone, which I mean to me it still trips me the fuck out because I'm just like, yo, I'm a skinny little kid with no high school ball experience. Coach Connor says I can walk on and try out, and this is
Right.
the first time I've ever seen football. The first day I'm there, James Jones is out doing the ladder drills, and I'm all
Yes.
like, "Wait, is that motherfucker?" And Larry's like, "Yep, that's James Jones." I'm like, "What? What?" I'm like, "Oh
See,
god!"
and
I'm
then
like, you know what I'm saying? Getting in, and then he's like, and I'm like, "How'd he get here?" And he's like, Coach Dubb." And then I'm all like, "Coach," I'm like, "Is it?" He's like, "Yep." He's like, and you're like, "Yep, I coach my state." I'm like, "Okay,
yeah,
yeah."
yeah. Hey, if you see me on my phone, I'm texting my wife. You know.
Like, no, you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
just, yeah, no, go ahead. I'm just saying, it's just like, I was just like, oh my God,
No,
man.
no, there ain't no doubt about it. Because see, it worked out. It worked out perfect because they practiced in the mornings at San Jose State.
Yeah,
And we practiced, traditionally in the afternoon still. So they
yeah,
would practice in the morning, and then that's why they would be able to come over at 3 o'clock with us and
yeah,
practice with us because
yeah,
they practice in the mornings. You know what I mean? Like people didn't know that part of it.
right.
That's why they can be over there every day, is because they practice at San Jose State at that time in the mornings. So by 3 o'clock, they're free.
Yeah, and
So
it's,
and so it worked out perfect because I was able to really, really work with those guys really hard still, and it ended up panning out.
yeah. I mean, I can recall before around like May, we had like almost every senior from San Jose, from state, coming out and getting ready for the pro day. I think
Right.
Jacob French, Adam Tafros,
Uh-huh.
like like Dingo, but Dingo been there for a minute, you know what I mean? But yeah, he was
Right.
there, and obviously like a few other dudes, there's all just coming out there and just conditioning. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
that was like my first. I'm just like, wow, this is what a pro style like program looks like. San Jose City,
Right.
and that's why the program's still running today. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like West
Right.
Valley got cut 4 years after my sophomore season, but my freshman year with
Really.
yeah, because budget cuts, because
Right.
because
Right. Right.
kind of we talked about Solano JC, like you said, I mean, I was telling Prince this last week when I Prince on. I was like, me playing in JUCO was me proving to myself I could do it. Kind of like what you alluded to.
Right.
It's you versus yourself, and you going out there and just doing it for that. You know what I mean? But then obviously with that, the record was not, it was, we went 0-10 that 09 season. And I was like,
Right.
oh my God. And I had the option either go try out for the AFL combine, or I could go walk on a D3 like Menlo, you know what I mean? I'm just like,
Right.
I'm gonna take my shot at the AFL. So the rest is history. So
No doubt about
yeah.
it. I mean, and that's betting on yourself again.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Now let's talk about after San Jose City. Now you get the D1 opportunity again to go to Fresno State. So
Yes.
talk to me about that.
Well, Dingo's agent, Frank Bauer,
Yeah.
and Kenny Chapman, really, really, really good guys. So when Dingo was coming out of uh, when Dingo was, when he's coming out of San Jose State, he's interviewing agents,
Yeah.
right? So he wants me to be included in the interview. So we're interviewing agents. We interview like two or three guys, and so the third or fourth person was Frank Bauer.
Right.
So he comes over, him and Kenny Chapman.
Yeah.
They come over to Dingo's. They come over to Three's apartment, and they going through the spiel and all that, and they're really good. They're down to earth. They got big time clients,
Yeah.
but they're really down to earth. They're really down to earth, and so we go have dinner with them, and spend a lot of time with them talking about you know their vision of three, and all the things that they can offer, and why he should sign with them. So after they left, me and Three looked at each other, and we're like, I think they're the ones. So and he says he tells them, the one thing I want is I want Dubb to train me for the combine. He said, I don't want to go to any facility in Arizona or LA or Miami. He said, I want to stay here, and I want Dubb to train me for the combine, the 40, everything.
Yeah.
And they said, if okay, that's your choice. He said, that's what I want to do. So um that's what we did. So that's what you saw. And
Yeah.
so, we did the speed work, we
Yeah.
did the shuttle, we did the football, obviously. And so he went to the combine ranked like a projected seventh rounder.
Yeah.
He came out of there pretty much projected a third rounder,
Yeah.
and he ended up going third round. And
Exactly.
so the agent Frank attributed that to me basically.
Which is true.
And so we he and I and Kenny, like, we all just developed a great relationship at that point. From then on to this day,
Yeah.
I love them, love them, love them. They are my family to this day. And so uh so unbeknownst to me, one of his clients was Pat Hill at Fresno State. I didn't know this. And so you know, that was 2006, 7. A couple years later, I guess Coach Hill, Pat Hill,
Yeah.
who was a client of Frank's, I didn't know this ever until then.
Yeah.
I guess tells him he tells Frank, "Hey, I'm looking for a wideout coach."
Yeah.
And so Frank says, "I got a guy." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so Frank says, "I got a guy." And so uh Frank talks to him about me, and Pat, Coach Hill, says, "Okay, if you speak that highly of him, I definitely would like to have a conversation with him." So, like, they brought me in for the interview, and then it was all good.
Yeah.
So I'm at Fresno. That's how I got from city to Fresno State. That's how it went down.
Exactly. And after you left, that's why I switched my jersey. I'm like, fuck this. Dubb ain't here. I'm gonna be here. Because, but I mean, I also understood why. You know what I mean? Because you,
All right.
with that kind of opportunity on the table, you can't just pass that up. I mean, that opportunity, man. Like, I mean, coach. I mean, you made the most. You made the best decision. You made the most of it. Going to Fresno. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely glad I did, but it was close because I had started getting used to the 4-year coaching lifestyle. Because my
yeah,
son, my son was at the time he was about 10, 11, 12, and he was a dog at Pop Warner. It looked like he had a chance,
yeah,
you know. And so I was thinking, gosh, man, I'm around all, 'cause I had a lot of really good friends in San Jose in the Bay Area. My
yeah,
my wife's there. She was working. Everything was good on that end, and my son looks like he has a chance. And at the same time at San Jose City, I don't know if you remember this or ever knew this. I was coaching my son's Pop Warner team at the same time.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn.
Yes. So we would practice, and we at like 6 o'clock we'd all say Jax.
Yeah.
And then when you guys ran off, my son's team practiced there.
Damn.
So I coached my son's team 2 years, Pop Warner, while I was coaching that. So we practiced and played at City.
Man,
So I
coach.
mean, so I'm rolling. You know what I mean? Like, this
Yeah.
is the best thing. This is the best thing ever. You
Yeah.
know. And so I'm coaching my son's Pop Warner team. He's a good player. He
Yeah.
looks like he has a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, man, this, like, you just, right now you watching Monday Night Football, Tuesday Night Football. I'm like, gosh, it's pretty good. And I was almost thinking, I'm just gonna just try to teach high school, or just go back to teach, because I had taught 5 years already
Yeah.
prior to all this. And
Yeah.
so I'm thinking, man, I should just let's roll it out like this, and then just keep working with pro guys in the off season. But then just teach and coach at City, or maybe eventually when my son gets to high school, maybe coach him.
Yeah.
um I was really close to doing that, and then I almost thought that was what I was going to do. And then when Fresno State came along, it was like I never thought that ever. It's like
Exactly.
when he was like, "Oh, Fresno State, Coach Hill was the interview." I was like, "Okay, what's up?" Like, I say, it's almost like I never even thought that. But so you're right. Like, when that opportunity came, I pretty much just went for it without even acting like I even had those other feelings. But prior, like the day before he told me that, I was thinking I was going to do the other thing.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't. Obviously, Fresno State was great. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad that it ended up that way.
Yeah. And you stayed at Fresno State for what? 4 years? 3 years or 4 years?
3.
3 years. Yeah. And I mean, you
Hmm.
developed a lot of NFL talent there too.
Oh yeah, we had some dogs. Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely had some.
You did.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We definitely had some dogs there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you were there for 3 years, and then Nebraska, right?
No, from there to Tulane.
To Tulane. I forgot about Tulane. Yeah. So go ahead. Tulane.
Tulane, Fresno State. Because then the person I was talking about, who was basically my father figure, my position coach at San Diego State, Curtis Johnson,
Go Johnson.
he was At that time, he was the wideout coach of the Saints. At that time, when I was
Yeah.
at Fresno State,
Yeah.
he went from the University of Miami when Santana Moss, because he coached at University of Miami. He coached Santana Moss, recruited Santana Moss, Hester, Reggie Wayne, Andre Johnson, Roscoe Parrish, Sonoris Moss. He coached and recruited all those dudes. So he was a dog, dog, dog. So he,
Dog, dog.
so dog, yeah, dog. So he goes from Miami, University of Miami, to the Saints because Sean Payton and him. Sean Payton was one of the coaches at San Diego State when I was a player.
Yeah. Wow.
So that yeah, so we had some really good coaches at San Diego State. We had a lot of about 4 or 5 guys who you end up coaching the NFL later on. And Coach Payton was the running back coach in OC at one point, and so C's they were friends. And so when Coach Payton went to the Saints, C's went with him, and so now and so he coaches the Saints when they won the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
and so he took the Tulane job.
Hmm.
Um, and so I got to go coach with him.
Yeah.
Like that's a dream come true. And so I left Fresno State, and that's why I went to Tulane because he was the head coach.
Nah.
And and so and so so that was great. I went to Tulane and coached under him and learned a lot and had a great time being around him. He knew all my family. He was my coach when I met my wife, and so you know, so it was just like one big happy family. It was a great environment.
Great environment at all. And I,
Yeah.
I'm curious, kind of Tulane, Fresno, and SJSU, even though they're D1A programs, Tulane's a little bit different because you're out there now in the Midwest. And like, I mean, I was talking to a few of the previous guests, like Lofa, who played like, against Auburn, right? And you go to the Midwest, you go to the Southwest, you go to the South. And football's taken a little bit more serious. It's a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, and Tulane is in New Orleans, so I mean, add that to it.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Because
Southeast, bro. Like,
New,
goddamn.
New, New Orleans is New Orleans is unique. I mean, it's a football town. I always say, I'm Cali all day. I tell people
100%.
this all the time. Like I argue with anybody about sports, about Cali. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about Texas. I don't want to hear nothing about Florida. I don't want to hear it, man. And so I'm from Cali, but
Okay.
I will say this: the difference, and but when you are from the West Coast and you hear all these stories about you know athletes in the South, how it's just so they're just so much more this and that, more hungry and stronger, and they care more, and you're just like, I mean, that sounds good, just because, all right, but I can't say this. I don't know if that's true across the board. I can see why that would be said, and I I can't judge nobody else's hunger per se, region to region, but I do know this: in the South, in New Orleans specifically, and in the South, 'cause I recruited all through the South, they are more accountable to kids. Kids are more accountable. They're they're not as accountable on the West Coast. The good players,
The good players, yeah.
the really good players in the South are accountable, but the really good players in the South are coached very hard still.
Exactly.
Like, I was in New Orleans, Leonard Fournette, St. Aug is in New Orleans. Leonard Fournette was the number one recruit in the whole nation,
Right.
rightfully so. He was an animal.
Yeah.
He is still. He is still. But in high school, it was unreal. And he was the number one recruit in the whole nation in St. August in New Orleans. So I had friends on the coaching staff in New Orleans. They had other great players. Stan Morgan, who I coached here, was an animal there. They had many, many, many good players. And I remember going to those practices and those coaches coaching Leonard like he was a freshman, like a ninth grader.
Yeah.
I mean, they're coaching him hard,
Yeah.
you know, and not unfair, not overboard, but they're coaching him as if he's accountable for his mistakes, or he's accountable for performing just like anybody else would be.
Yeah.
And so that's not how they all coach the good players on the West Coast. And I'm from the West Coast, and I'm saying that's why I can say that. I know
Yeah.
it's true. You'll go to a school in California and you go see the good player, and this fool might not even be practicing.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
you're like you're going to see the big time wideout. You go there. I mean, this guy's like over there messing around. He ain't even practicing.
Exactly. You know what I
Or
mean?
if he's practicing, he might catch a ball and then go get some water, or he over there messing around. Like he's just like, is that the sweet guy? And no one's saying nothing to him. And that's not every kid, obviously. There's a lot of good coaches in California and West Coast, but that I know that's true because I've seen it.
No,
They they
absolutely.
they coach them hard in the South. They
Yeah, and
coach them hard, and the kids respond. The kids respond to the hard coaching, and it's and I'm not just saying yelling and cussing. I'm just talking about coaching hard, making them be accountable, uh, you know, effort, making them, feeding that hunger, making sure they give good effort, making sure they understand, what they're fighting for, what their dream is, what the ultimate goal that they're trying to accomplish. Why are these D1 coaches out here looking at you? Never forget that and don't take it for granted. The
100%.
the high school coaches in the South understand that, and they project that onto, and they express that to the kids, and that's where you get that kind of notion about how hungry the players in the South are, is because they're raised and nurtured that way from day one.
Yeah,
Even when they become, even when they step into that stratosphere of being a 5 star or whatever, that accountability and that same approach by the coaches doesn't change. and
100%.
and so the results are what they are. But in Cali, it's like that some in Cali, but not as much as the South.
Yes, sir.
you know and
No, but
and that doesn't speak to talent, the talent difference. I'm not conceding that in terms of one region being more talented than the other, but I do know that part's true. I've seen it.
100%. No, I mean, but I remember you used to get on our ass if we were fucked up. I remember
Oh, there
you
ain't no
said,
doubt about that.
I was in the slant. You was all like, "What the fuck you doing, Ali? You supposed to plant. You ain't supposed to just fucking like it's 5 to 7. I was on DP. I was like, Coach, I was a 5 to 7. I went 8, and then I rounded it, and you were all like, and then you just dropped the clip. Go, you like, go run that shit again. Run around
No,
the track so you get. I
it's
love
not right. It's not right. It's not right.
hundred
If it's not
percent,
right,
man.
go again. If it's not
Hun-
right, go again. You know what I mean? We're not out
Yeah.
here wasting time.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But I mean, I appreciate that because it helped me, kind of get that mental toughness and kind of get the discipline, because that was my
Right.
first year ever playing football. I didn't get to play in high school. So kind of you instilling that in me just kept me, kind of with that mindset. And that's why I totally understand what you're saying about when in the South, when they give them that mindset from day one, then you don't have to really tell a player twice why you're telling them to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus like, someone has a superstar mentality. And I learned this when I was coach varsity last year for the first time at Whitney out here in Sac. I was all like, yo, man, the superstar players got their parents on board, and the parents trying to tell the coaches what to do. And then
Right.
you're
Right.
out
Right.
there, and I'm out here just trying to fucking tell these kids what to do. I have a playbook, and this motherfucker is saying, why aren't they splitting the practices for varsity and JV? Like, and they say they can do the job better than us, and they threaten not to bring their kid because they know. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, get
No
the fuck
doubt
out of
about
here,
it.
bro. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt about it. And I guess like you just said, I guess a way to kind of describe it and just kind of frame it is that in the South, it's really still old school
Yeah,
in terms of what this actually is.
yeah,
Like, it's high school football. I'm the coach, and everybody pretty much is the same.
exactly.
Now, obviously, we don't have the same talent, but everybody's value on the team is the same. Everybody's role is the same in terms of your accountability to perform your role, and and there ain't a lot else to it, and that's how we're moving every day.
exactly.
And sometimes, because I'm like I said, I'm from Cali, man. I mean, I'm from Cali as much as anything else, and so I've seen it. I know how, and it kind of changes. And like you
Yeah,
said, the parent involvement, and it's reasons for all of it. We don't have to turn it into a social meeting,
yeah,
but and some of it's that, but it's just a culture. It's just a different culture in the South, and it leads itself to the kind of players that, at least that attitude, put it like that.
yeah.
Like I
And
said,
based
it doesn't dictate your talent, obviously, but it does. There is a difference in attitude.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. So no, I totally agree with that. So, And yeah, I mean, again, that experience, must have been great for you because then you don't have to be dealing with knuckleheads as much as you have to deal with, if you're out here with the superstars. But I think ultimately, kind of that, were you able? Would you say that? But I think for you, it didn't matter which environment you're in. I mean, you were able to produce success wherever you went. I mean, whether it was State, whether it was Fresno, whether it was Tulane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, or
Right.
did you see a difference in success? At Tulane.
N- No, no, I didn't because, like you said, I got my own coach's approach, and
Hmm.
so I'm gonna coach you at 6 years old the same way I'm gonna coach you at 26.
Yes, sir.
And so it's I never I never even looked at it differently.
Yeah.
I never even expected for it to be different because I knew that I wasn't going to coach it and approach it differently. It's just
Mhm.
I did notice the difference in the type of some of the kids versus region. I noticed I started noticing difference in kids in different regions. I did notice that, but my approach to them was always going to be the same because at the end of the day, the goal is the same. And so wherever you're from, you're trying to get it, you're trying to make it happen. And I'm trying to make it happen and make it happen for you. So that's not ever going to change.
Bingo. You know what I mean? So, and I can attest that firsthand. I was a project, but it worked out. It worked out
it,
favorably. You
it,
see this?
it definitely worked out. But see, the thing is, what I think parents, the kid, the coach, whatever, don't understand that everybody's a project.
100%.
If you're learning from somebody, then you're a project. Unless you already know it, then you're a project. So
Right.
I look at everybody as a project. It doesn't matter. You're not a finished product if you haven't been through it. You're not finished product unless you finished. So no one can. How can you start as a finished product and you're at the start? So
Exactly.
no, everybody is a project, no matter what. So I
100%.
always look at it like that anyway. So that's never a problem.
No, and I think that's why so many NFL wide receivers have come to you. I mean, just basically to work with you because of that mindset that you're not going to be treating them any differently that you treat me, you treat someone in the JUCO, so you treat someone in the high school, treat someone at Tulane or wherever. Because like to your point, it doesn't matter what level it is. The mindset and the mentality, the approach needs to be the same. It needs to be a standard. You know what I mean? Because then
No
that
question.
way, exactly. And so I mean, like you said about the South, if they have that for once they get to 5 star or even the NFL, like to you probably can attest this better than I can. Like when you work with them, you don't really have to cater or tailor your approach any differently
No,
than
no, no,
prior.
no,
You know
no,
what I mean?
no, 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 no. No, and it's and like I said, I don't even look at it as complicated and complex as that in terms of this is my approach or it's the truth. I just
Yeah,
tell you the truth. I
yeah,
tell you the truth, and I know that I can help you improve if you really want to improve.
right.
I know I can, and you think I can. That's why we sit next to each other, and so that part is true. And so now everything we're gonna do is just be the truth. You know, I'm not gonna walk into it with a preconceived way I'm gonna treat you. I don't have a preconceived way I'm gonna treat. I'm gonna treat you the same way I'm gonna treat you the way of truth. We always gonna deal with the truth, and the truth is easy because we both can agree on the truth.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so that's my approach is the truth, and so that makes it easy.
100%. So now after Tulane, now you're about to go to Nebraska, right? Talk to me about that
Yeah,
transition.
that was pretty good. Uh, the head coach, the new head coach Mike Riley, great man. He called C's to express interest in discussing the potential opportunity with me. C's let me know that that he wanted to have a conversation with me about the wideout position. So after he called C's told me, Coach Riley got in touch with me. We scheduled a meeting to meet at the National Coaching Convention,
Mm.
which was probably in about 10 to 2 weeks after our phone conversation. So we met there, talked, and you know the rest was history. It went on from there to the point he offered me the job, and we're on our way to Nebraska.
Nebraska, man. And talk to me about kind of what
Yeah.
that experience was like for you.
It was crazy, because now it's the Midwest, right? And so I had been familiar with the South, even though before I went to New Orleans, I had been in New Orleans a few times, and you know, I kind of had a vibe about the South from experience and being around people from the South a lot. A lot of my good friends, Marshall Falk, and a lot of people that I have been around that really close to me were from the South. So, and C's, my coach, was from the South. Like I said, I had been in New Orleans and Houston and all that, so I had a kind of a feeling about the South, even though I had never lived there before I went to New Orleans. But I had never been anywhere near the Midwest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was now I was born in Ohio, but we moved from Ohio when I was 2 years old.
Yeah.
So I never spoke a word. I mean, I don't know when you speak, but I never rode a bike in Ohio.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I'm adopted. So I was adopted when I was 2 days old. I was born in Ohio. I was adopted. My mother and father adopted me when I was 2 days old. When I was 2 years old, we moved to San Diego. And like I told you earlier, we lived in San Diego from age 2 to age 12. And then we moved to Stockton. And then so so I had never, I since leaving Ohio at 2 years old, I've probably been back there, like 4 times.
Yeah.
By the, what I mean, like, and the last time probably being in 8th grade. By the time I came to Nebraska, the last time I remember actually being in Ohio before I actually moved here, I think I went back for like part of the summer, like my 8th grade year, to visit my grandma. And so the Midwest was brand new for me, all the way around, from the vibe of the people and the weather and just everything. But it was good, but it was new. But it
Right.
was all good though. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, it's funny because this last ring from playing 2018 was with the Chicago Falcons. You can see that. And that was
Yeah,
basically out in Chicago. And like what we're talking about the Midwest, arena and indoor football died here in Cali. Like I said, in the whole West Coast around like 2016, 17. I mean, you still got San Diego, the team down there. You got a team up in Spokane, the Shock, I think, but you don't really have any other teams anymore. The Sabercats don't exist anymore. The
really.
Wolves don't exist anymore.
There's no team in Vegas.
Nah, no. There is, there is, and Marshawn Lynch and Beast Mode starting up the Panthers. So I mean that's basically
Okay.
starting up. But I mean the Vegas team, yeah, they exist. I'm not sure what the status is though. But yeah, I
Right,
mean
right, 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 right,
yeah,
right. And
yeah.
in Arizona.
In Arizona, they still got the Rattlers. The Rattlers are out there. Yeah. I'm just talking about like Cali,
Right, 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 right,
like
right,
on the
right, right,
coast.
right.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, but no, you're right, you're right. So yeah, I mean, coach, you know the shits. But yeah, I was gonna say, you know what I mean? Like, so when I went to Midwest, and then I'm playing because when we won the Western Conference Championship with the AIF in 2012 with the Cal Eagles, we played against the Cape Fear Heroes, which is in Fayetteville in North Carolina, and them boys was dogs, bro. Like they blew us out and they blew up everyone. They went finished season 9-0. Like I mean, they were
Big.
just running through. You know what I'm saying? So I mean,
Right,
like, and so I mean, I don't hang my hat on. You know what I mean? Because we went out there and I did my job. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you can't. I mean, I
right,
can't like record's one thing and winning is another thing. You know what I mean? I want to win
right,
always, but you know what I mean. If I go out there and do what I can do, I'm okay with it. So but
right,
I mean, to the point that you're making about the Midwest and still having the presence. When I got to play for the Falcons, I got to scrimmage against some of the teams I got to play during that season, the AIF, because
right,
the indoor scene is still prevalent there in the South
right.
and the East Coast. Like the fucking West Michigan Ironmen are there. Like all these fucking
No,
like
you're right.
AIF. Yeah,
You're right, because I know some guys that are playing for the Iowa team here.
yeah,
I want to say it might be a team in the Grand Rapids.
yeah. Grand
It's like
Rapids. Yeah,
about
yeah, 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 yeah.
it's like 3 teams out here right
Yeah,
now.
three right there, exactly. We're not even talking about
Mhm.
Michigan. We're not even talking about, you
No,
know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, yeah,
Illinois.
no, yeah, you're right. I want to say it's a I want to say it's a team in Nebraska, Grand Rapids, but I know it's a team in Iowa,
Oh, the team in Nebraska is the Omaha Beef.
Omaha Beef. There's a team in Iowa, and I almost want to say there's a team in South Dakota.
Yeah, South Dakota also has one. The Sioux Falls something.
Yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
the name.
Sioux Falls,
Yeah, yeah,
Sioux
yeah, yeah.
Falls, Sioux Falls. Yep,
I
yep.
played against all those motherfuckers, coach.
Yeah.
That's how I know this.
Sioux Falls, exactly. Yep, that's what it
Them
is.
boys can ball, man. And it's obviously on a 50-yard field. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's when you hit the glass, man, you're just like, oh God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt. I played for the SaberCats. I played for the SaberCats and for the Albany Firebirds. Yeah, I like the arena though.
I love it.
So
I love it.
SaberCats, bro, that SaberCats run was real.
It was.
I was there. I was coaching that San Jose State then, during that time, like Rasheed Davis. Cause I coached
Rashid
Rasheed Davis.
and he came to West Valley. He coach us.
I coached Rasheed Davis and Charles Polly.
Oh man.
Um, I coached those dudes at San Jose State. So I was coaching at San Jose State and living in San Jose when San Jose SaberCats was going crazy. I used
Yeah.
to go to the games. Them games was real. But
Yeah.
like, that was real deal. That SaberCats situation was very, very serious.
Real serious, coach. I mean, we ain't yeah.
real serious. I mean, I was there. I was
Yeah.
there. I was at the games, man. I was there. I know. It
Yeah,
was a
man.
man. That was some good stuff.
Yeah, it was. It really was. You know what I mean? I mean, it kind of.
And I know Arbet, like Arbet, the head coach. He's from Stockton. I know him really good.
Yeah, our bet
Um,
and coach and our bets now. I think at Cabrillo now.
yeah,
He's down.
you're
Yeah.
yep, you're
Yeah.
exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I used to go to a lot of those games to see Sheed, CP, um, all those dudes, man. Like, what was the last dude? What was this? The fat, like he was like a thin white dude that played white out for.
Oh fuck, what's his name, bro? I can't remember.
He
Shit.
he was
I know.
nasty.
Yeah, nasty.
Was it James Rowe?
Yeah, James Wall. Yeah, yeah.
And I remember him, the quarterback. Who was the quarterback? He was an animal. The main, I
Mark
mean, he was
Grebe.
a
Mark Grebe.
Grebe,
Yeah, yeah.
Grebe. Hey, Grebe was like Peyton Manning, who was
In the
nasty,
arena.
nasty. Oh, oh my God, he was nasty, nasty. And the skinny white dude was a dog. I
Yeah,
forgot his name. He was an animal. I remember all those dudes, man. We used to go to the games. I remember
yeah,
all those dudes.
yeah. So when I had my combine in 2010, I mean, I got to meet all the motherfuckers. I mean, it was great,
Yeah,
man. Great experience. So
yeah,
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 it
yeah.
was great. You know, what I mean, so but yeah, no, I mean, it was cool, man. Fucking Matt Costello. He was there. Matt Costello from SJSU. Yeah.
Yep, you're
Yeah.
exactly right. Yep,
Yep.
yep, yep.
Yep. So yeah. So Nebraska. I mean, what I mean, did was that your last like I guess like 4 year kind of coaching
Hmm.
gig? Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yep.
what happened?
It was good, and so we got let go, and then my daughter was she just graduated. She's going to University of Jacksonville now. She plays soccer,
Nice.
and she was just now getting her thing right as far as terms of looking like she had a chance.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to put uh, that whole burden on my wife in terms of her recruiting because you can only go through the process once.
Right.
And so I was real concerned about um, that going right for her.
Yeah.
And and in soccer, in the smaller sports, you really got to be in tune with the recruiting because it's not as profound, it's not as exposed, it's not as detailed, and um, it's a lot can slip through the cracks. If you don't know exactly what's going on, who's communicating with who, you just got to have a whole bunch of open lines of communication with everybody because it's not as powerful of a machine as football, basketball, and baseball recruiting.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I had to be on top of that because I didn't want to, I didn't want anything to be overlooked or any mistakes made for her future because like I said, you only go through that once. And so I kind of drug my feet on some stuff. I just wanted to be around my family.
Yeah.
I was able to uh I was able to be around them. I wanted to be around my family, and I wanted to, like I said, be really involved with that her recruiting process. And so that's what I've been doing. But then, I not really out of the blue, but just from the side, I start getting contacted by just because I was, from Dingo from 3 all the way on through all the places I ever coached, I still was working with pro guys.
Yeah. I know.
So Dingo at San Jose City, and then when I went to Fresno State, um, I still worked. He still came to Fresno, and then when I went to Tulane, I start working with other guys, him included. Other guys start contacting me, and so guys would come into New Orleans to work. And then, when I went to Nebraska, guys were coming to Nebraska to work. And so when I wasn't coaching at Nebraska, but I'm still here, guys were contacting me
Yeah.
to see if I was still, if I would still work with them, even though I wasn't at Nebraska. And
Right.
so obviously I would. And so that part start, that part start coming alive. And, that's kind of what people see now that might not know I ever coached at Nebraska. They kind of just see that. And
Yeah.
so, and so, I mean, a lot of people like, a lot of the young people who follow me on social media or whatever, they don't even know I ever coached at Nebraska.
Yeah.
They just they just think that I just, decided to start, working with pro guys, which is fine. I mean, however you know a person is how you know them. But I've been working with pro guys since 2002.
I already know.
So
2008.
you
Shit,
know,
that's when you know what I mean.
yeah,
Spring
this
ball.
is this this is pre-camera phone, pre-whatever.
Yeah,
You
you
know what I
already
mean?
know.
This is
Coach. I was telling Lofa Tupu who was on last week. I was all like, there was no. This wasn't even. This was just coming into the fold when we was
bruh.
out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm talking about Nokia. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
The flip flop.
Yeah, Nextel,
Next tail shit.
sidekicks.
Samsung baby.
Yeah. So this is like I remember when you were coming out, it was just now YouTube.
Yeah, just YouTube, just now. Yeah.
Because were you there? Were you at City with the twins,
Yeah.
Tino and they were running backs? Well,
Okay.
anyway, there was twin running backs, and they're really good dudes.
Yeah.
And one of them was an animal with the
Q.
technology.
Yeah.
Yes, because back then, like it was, if you knew how to work a little bit of the email and the YouTube, like you were like a scientist. You know
Bingo.
what I mean? You know what I mean? Like now that now like 5-year-olds are making like TikToks and whatnot on iPad. Like 5-year-olds have. If you can like log on and make a YouTube video, you were like Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
So so I remember though I remember Tino and those guys coming to my house and like making YouTube videos for me, like in 2005, 2006.
Wow.
So I've been working with pro guys, basically since then. Really
Yeah.
since 2002 because Edel Shepard was really he's the wideout who broke the single season record at San Jose State my first year coaching. I actually started working with him first. He was like my very, very first like person I did drills with who was going to the NFL, but we didn't film anything. Then that was 2002.
Right.
But in terms of like an actual film where we filmed the drills and I went and watched them, that was Dingo. That was three,
Yeah.
2006. And then he came back every offseason his whole career for nine years.
Yeah.
Whatever school I was at, he just go there.
Yeah.
You know, he bring his wife. They stay in. Like when I went to Fresno, he brought his wife and kids. They just they get a room and they stay however long. Then he would come to New Orleans. Then he came to Nebraska, and so like I said, once I left Nebraska, I started getting contacted by you know other pro players, and so they would start coming out, and then so now social media is an animal, right? And so
Exactly.
obviously so now obviously you see more of that coming from me. And so like a lot of young people who are who are interested in training and seeing guys, they like, oh, Coach Dubb, is a trainer or whatever, but they don't know I've been doing this as a coach. I'm a coach. I'm really not a trainer. I
Exactly.
mean, I'm not a trainer. I'm a coach who I work with these guys, but I'm not a trainer. And it ain't nothing against trainers, but I never started as a trainer.
No, you never was a fucking no
Some
trainer.
some guys
Goddamn.
start working.
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, it ain't nothing wrong. It ain't nothing wrong with trainers. Like trainers are trainers, but I'm saying the reason I'm saying I'm not a trainer is because I never started as a trainer. I didn't start doing this as a trainer.
Yeah.
So I'm not a trainer now. And so but trainers, I mean, they're doing the same thing. But I'm just saying, like I know a lot of great dudes that are trainers. I'm buddies with them all. But I'm saying like young people might think, go there. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah. You've known 20 years. I
So
mean, and
you
now
know,
the young people in
and
JUCOs who I listen to me because I also have a pretty prevalent following. You can't see on IG, but on my Facebook, I have a Facebook fan page. My profile, I have over 3,300, 3,400 followers, and my fan page I have
right,
4,600. So that's like over 8,000 plus the IG which is 7,800. So it's like almost
right,
9,000. So
right.
y'all hear now. Coach Keith K. Dub Williams is a coach. He was my coach. Go ahead.
Now, And I was, and like I said, it ain't nothing wrong with trainers because basically a trainer is a coach. It's just that coaching and doing this. I
Yeah.
was coaching. I was doing this. I was coach. I was doing this before they named it training.
Bingo. Yeah.
You know, before anybody who ever has before anyone who ever is has ever trained a guy at wideout who said I'm a trainer, come to me and I would train you at wideout. Before any person who ever said that, I was doing it 10 years before they said it.
Bingo.
So
12 years, man. I
I mean
remember
that's the
that shit.
truth.
12 years, man.
Yeah, I mean that, yeah, that's the truth. And so, and but to your point, I only said that to say that now that social media is an animal and it's a lot of guys working with guys independently, which is good.
Yeah.
I love all trainers because go to a trainer so you can get better.
Yeah.
So I love all trainers who are doing good work because go to somebody. If I wasn't if I was a lawyer and didn't know anything about wideout play and I had a son, I'd be trying to send him to one of these guys.
Bingo. Yeah.
you know, what I mean? Like, or if I knew somebody who had a son who wanted some work, I'd be like, you probably need to go look, let's get online, let's get on IG and see if we can find a guy that makes sense. So
Yes, sir.
all trainers are good. All trainers are good, but I basically what I was saying is that I didn't just start working with pro guys like right now. But since
Yeah.
social media is an animal, that's what you see, and so you can't control that.
It's crazy that you're saying that because that's what I was telling Lofa and a few others. It's like they don't know that I played JUCO. They don't know I played arena, but they know about this motherfucker because this is 2018.
Right,
That's when I got all those followers. I told you about. They see that
right,
trophy back
right.
there. But I mean, they don't know. They're like, oh wow, like you play pro, you play this, you play that, because they saw the Chicago Falcons, they saw my uniform, they see this, so they're thinking that that is like where I started, or that's kind of like, oh, like I'm
Right,
still active. Like they don't know the beginning, they don't know
right,
the
right,
process to get to where I am today. So I mean, I think it's an important
right,
point that you bring up. Perception is
right.
crazy now.
And I kind of really say that to also say, originally I only worked with guys I had coached
Right. I know. Yeah.
because it started. That's where it started, right? Because
Yeah.
there's no trainers.
Yeah.
There's nobody who. So, like, I wasn't coming out saying I am this because it didn't exist. The only reason I even start working with pro guys is that when Dingo went to the Packers, he came back to San Jose in the off season. I was in San Jose.
Yeah.
We worked the whole off season. And so he kept doing that. And so I remember for the first 2 years, he would ask, can he bring people? And I would say no, like this is for us.
Yeah.
This is wideouts, and that's it. Like, no, you like better than that. Like for 2 years, I told him, no, you can't bring anyone. I don't care who it is. Only people who I'm going to work with is our family, guys I've coached.
Yeah.
Like for the first 2 or 3 years, I only worked with guys that I actually knew and coached. It wasn't until he kept on bugging me, and I was like, all right, like because I always cared about like what kind of person are you bringing into this,
Right.
because it was never for money.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't getting paid,
Yeah.
so it was never for money, and it wasn't advertising. I wasn't getting no money, $0.
Hmm.
And so it's like, who are you bringing into the family, basically?
Exactly.
And I was always concerned about like, no, you can't bring one because we don't know if that person lives it like we do, because it's not a position, it's a way of life. And
W for
so
L.
1,000%. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
not just a position; it's a way of life. So who are you bringing into the family? Nope. You just can't just bring somebody just because you're buddies with them. So for 2 years, I was like, nah, no one can come. But he kept on bugging me. And like, you'll like this guy. He gonna work hard. He ain't a weirdo. He's my boy. We kick it during the season and all that. So he brought like two dudes, and so that's when I first started working with guys who I didn't know
Yeah.
previously.
Yeah.
And so that's how that's where it all started. From there is that then other guys would get in contact with me or whatever the case. But initially it was all just about helping the guys I had coached.
Right.
And that's all I cared about, really, because I wasn't getting money. I wasn't getting paid. It was all during my free time because I
Yeah.
was coaching. So I would work with these guys after spring ball and in the summer, like their off seasons. And so
Pretty
it was
much.
just that. It
Yeah.
was just that. So, what I mean? So that's why I say that's why it's kind of funny because people that talk to me now and contact me about working, they're like, oh, like they don't even refer to the coaching. They just think that, you know, that I just because I don't even add, I don't have an advertisement or I don't say, oh, I'm gonna be in LA next week if you want to work. I don't have nothing online. People hit me like agents might hit me and say, what's your website? I don't have a website. My
Exactly.
web my website is Twitter. Like I don't have a website. I don't have nothing. I don't have a flyer. I don't have
Yeah.
anything. I don't advertise because it's not really about that to me.
Yeah.
I love wide out play. I'm a wide out. That's my lifestyle. And so if you want to get better and you think I can help, just contact me and
Bingo.
we can do it. If you could be 9 or 90. If you want to get better and you think I can help you, let's do it.
But be prepared to work, listeners. You're trying to get contacted
No.
by Coach Dubb, man. He's gonna work you.
Oh, oh, we absolutely gonna work.
I tell him, Coach.
so,
Man,
soon as you get out that car, we get into it.
we get to it, to it. You know what I'm saying? So
No, to it.
to it,
Yeah,
to it.
for sure, for sure. Well, let me ask you this: how you get in touch with Prince?
I mean, it's funny because so when I started playing semi-pro ball in Chicago, this is just random, bro. I just crazy, Coach. I'm gonna tell it to you like this. Fucking like, and I was gonna ask you how you got in touch with Prince. Like, I saw a documentary. I was just curious because I'm like, who? Because at this point now I'm playing semi-pro. I'm like, who who I was just curious who from semi-pro made the NFL like of recent day because my coach from when I played in Chicago where I got this motherfucker he made the NFL back because he played in the 70s. Semi-pro in the 70s was a
Right,
lot higher level than it is now. You know what I mean? Now it's not
right,
the
right,
same what it used to be. And I just randomly stumbled upon this documentary, 22,000 views. It's like Darius Prince, the receiver who went from semi-pro to the NFL, and I'm
right,
reading about and I'm watching his teammate giving this whole testimonial about how he went from, he got to play basketball at Penn State Beaver, then he went to semi-pro after Erie Explosion didn't work out, then he went to NAL, then he went to AFL, and then he got to the Eagles practice squad. And this is literally right after I finished my first season, which is when he's on the Eagles, and I'm just like, hold up, bro, like yo. And I'm looking at him like we're the same age. I'm like DP and I are both born April of the same year. We're both 30, except I'm 21 days older
right,
than him. I'm like, yo, bro, I gotta find out. I gotta find out where this motherfucker is. And lo and behold, he happens to be on social media. We have mutual friends, and
right,
or like one or two or whatever. And then I add him, and then like I hit him up like, hey man, like your inspiration, like this and that. He's like, oh, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. I'm like, cool. And then all of a sudden, that's how I found. So basically, when and then Jesus, who used to play, please play at SJCC. I mean, he was there after you left and after I left. But like Manu, you remember Manu, right? Manu from San
yeah,
Jose, yeah.
yeah,
Manu saw me post about that. Manu saw me post about fucking so Jesus. He follows me, and I talked to Manu for over 12 years too. I mean, I'm probably since '08, right? And then
right,
I see Manu's post from San Jose from State, and then he tags you. It's like Coach Dubb, and then I follow you, and I see Prince is following you. So when Prince comes on the show last week, I'm like, bro, how the fuck you know Coach Dubb? That was my college coach. He's like, bro, Coach
right,
Dubb's my guy, man. Like, I work with him in the offseason, this shit, that shit.
yeah,
I'm like, bro, that's my college coach. You, I was like, damn. And then because when I saw your page, I'm like, oh, 18,000 plus followers. I'm like, yo, man, like you obviously, you elevated and obviously expected because you kept elevating after you left City. You know what I mean?
right, right, right,
But
right.
I was just like, damn, like, bro, like, and I was telling
Yeah,
Lofa, and when you play and you keep going higher, the circle gets so much smaller. You know what I'm saying?
no, it
Like,
does. No, it does.
yeah,
It does. It definitely does. Especially now that you can, like you said, that you can do quick cross checks and references from social media.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And then once you find out who somebody's following or your mutual followers, that even puts you in the mindset of that person. You're like,
yeah,
well, like, because you automatically saw that if I follow him and he follows me, then you automatically know like what kind of person he probably is.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
exactly,
like he probably not a weirdo or like a clown, or else
yeah,
I would probably be following him and he wouldn't be following me. You know what I mean?
exactly,
And
yeah,
so like you can even kind of get a perception of a person before you even contact him just by his followers or who he may be following. Just
yeah,
like this sheer association, like in person association. You see somebody walking with a two dudes that you know are clowns. You're like, well, that guy must be the third clown. 'Cause
exactly,
I know those other two dudes are definitely clowns. I know them. And if he's kicking it, if they're all three laughing together, then he must be the third clown. and it's no different than social media. It's association. So um, that's funny, and the circle does get smaller because I coach Prince at A in the AAF,
Yeah, with with gladiators? No, no, the glad. What was that?
the
Guardians?
Commanders,
Commanders. Okay.
San
San Antonio.
Antonio Commanders, San
Yeah.
Antonio Commanders. That's how I met Prince. You know what I mean? He came and down and made the team, and I coached him the whole time. And so yeah, Prince is my guy. He's a great dude.
Yeah, man. No, he really is. After I got I chopped it open for an hour. I told him I'm like, yo, man. After Coach I left for President, I switched my jersey. I went to West Valley. I'm like, fuck this, man. I ain't coming back if there ain't no W for L, man. And then,
Nah,
but
no doubt about it.
yeah, but I didn't tell Prince I knew about W for L. I saw him post it when I tagged you, and then you posted W for L. I'm like, okay, Prince is part of the family, like you said. He's part of the family. I want to verify it, and
Yes.
after the every man shit, Coach. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. It all
Nah,
goes
I
full
bet you.
circle.
But like I bet you when you and him talked, it was like you already knew him.
I did. No, 100%, coach. It was crazy. I was just like, yo, like, hey, man, like, I'm 21 days older than you, but like, so you can call me Big Bro. We just started laughing and we just hit
Right.
it off. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, you played him. I played him. I'm like, yeah, no, this and that. And we just hit it off because we have so many similar experiences from like playing. Because, like, because here's the biggest thing, coach. He didn't play in college. I didn't play in high school. That's why I
Right.
came on the city. And that's why he
Right.
went
Right.
to fucking, to play semi-pro. And that's why I want to continue my playing career. It's just we came at different junctures, but
Right.
eventually, like you said, it's like we just the 6 degree separation. We just interconnected because, like you said, the association of just kind of just knowing, who I'm talking
Right.
to, just
Right.
not even
No.
knowing
No.
him.
No doubt about it. And like you said, because his association with just wideouts, you know what kind of person he's going to be. I mean, it's just that's mandatory.
Exactly,
You know
100%.
what I mean, it's mandatory, and so like you can put money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can put money on he's going to have. There's some core qualities that he's going to have as a person that you can put money on for sure. And
100%.
so that that's going to happen, which makes it easier
Makes
and
it
makes the
100.
circles and it makes the circle smaller.
It does. You know what I mean? Like now we're all
Yeah,
interconnected. Now, I mean, I'm trying to get Manu on the show. DP, I'm trying to get DP to come back, and DP wants to come back. So I mean, maybe next week, we'll have him
yeah,
back on. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Prince is my guy, man. He was a great dude. We got really close. We still close. He's a hard worker, and
I
everything
already know.
about that documentary, really is him. Like, that's his personality. That's his drive. Uh, he is that. That's what that's what drives him. That's the kind of person he is that document. Because when he got to San Antonio, he worked like that.
Yeah,
He
coach.
didn't have a whole bunch of experience playing wide out. Those guys that I had, had all been on NFL teams and even played some years. And so he wasn't coming from that kind of background. So there were some fundamental things that he hadn't even heard before, hadn't even experienced from a wideout position standpoint, and at times he struggled because of that.
Yeah,
And the difference was even greater in terms of of struggling, right? Because the people that you being evaluated against don't struggle in those areas because of experience. And
right.
so it was he went through some tough times, but he never shied away from it. He never made excuses, and he just tried his best to work through it out to just work harder than the circumstance. And he was a dog.
He's a dog, and I mean, the thing is, for me, the biggest thing is like, for him to just, it's inspiration. Like I told him this, straight up. Like he's an inspiration to semi-pro players who for whatever reason could not stay on track and have to go to semi-pro, and eventually have to use that. But in order to, and like he said this very clearly, and I agree with him. And you can on the podcast if you want, but I'm just gonna repeat it anyways for viewers, listeners. You can't just work hard. You have to have the talent. You can't just, you know what I mean? Because like you have to be realistic with yourself. You have to know that what your ability is. You have to know your limitations are. You have to have a mindset, and you have to know you can do it. You know what I mean? And if you
No
can't,
doubt about it.
you know what I mean? And you and coach, I mean, you know this. I mean, like, yeah, you've known this from day one. I mean, so I mean, but it's just one of those things I just want the viewers to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I mean, it definitely starts with talent,
yeah,
and I'm all for heart and smart and all that, but you got to be able to catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I mean, like you got to be able to execute
what you
the
saying,
the.
coach? I was playing.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like like, and I get it, bro. Like it's a lot of guys with talent that underachieve.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that story in
Bingo.
all walks of life,
Yes.
not just sports. There's underachievers. There's highly talented, underachieving people in all facets of life.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Athletics being one of them, but all facets of life, there's talented underachievers all over the place. But at the same time, to be successful, even the overachievers have some level of talent.
Yeah.
When you go to anything, athletics, business, whatever, and you say, "Ah, that guy's an overachiever." He might be an overachiever, but he does have talent though. Like he's not out there with zero talent. You know what I mean? So
I have to
like,
flex on him, boy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because like at wideout, I get that you smart and you got a heart and you care, but can you catch? That's what I want to
Bingo.
know. I mean,
But no,
like at what point we gonna throw you the ball and you being smart ain't gonna get it done.
exactly. No, you being smart ain't gonna get it done, but you also have to be able to run the route, like you said.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I get it, bro. Like I can't tell you how much I'm all for the heart and the intelligence, and I bet at one point we're gonna throw you the ball. Can you catch it? That's what I
Can you
want
catch?
to know.
Bingo. Bingo.
Can you catch the ball? Like, I mean, like that's what I want to know. Can you catch the ball? Then we'll go. Then we'll decide if how intelligent you are is gonna how that's gonna help. But first, I need to know, can you catch it?
Bingo.
So like you said, talent is paramount, and then any other intangibles you have from there that just makes your game that much stronger.
Yeah, and it's funny the first I told DP about when we talked about you was that when I came on spring ball like I just told you, and the first thing I see is Dingo lacing up his cleats, getting ready to run the routes, getting ready to hit the ladder. I said this. I said DP. I went like this. My DP. When I saw that man do that, I was like, oh my god! Like
He
this
met
is
he
what.
met he met Dingo. He met
Yeah,
Dingo
yeah. But I mean, yeah. You
because
become what?
when we he met him when we played in AF when we played at Arizona because
Yeah.
Dingo's living in Phoenix now.
Oh, okay. Is he?
Yeah, and I used to show those guys a lot of his clips and stuff. So
Okay.
he's living in Phoenix now, and so when we played the Arizona team, um, he came over and talked to those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he met Dingo.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. No, I just want to make sure that but he was like I was like yo man, like I was like that's the standard right there. Dingo was a standard and he still is a standard. I've not yet seen anyone with precision and timing in the routes and with the hands and just with I mean Dingo just had it. You know what I'm saying,
and
coach?
and
Like he
and
just
and, and at that size.
and at that size, right? I mean like geez, like I mean you have to have the size and the skin. It's everything, man. Like some dudes just got it. You know what I mean?
No,
So
no, he definitely. I mean, yeah, he's definitely blessed.
yeah,
He's
bless.
the other guy that's like that is Devontae. He's that way.
Oh, Devontae. Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Okay, so coach, now we talking about your social media and your current role. You're working with all these pros. Devontae, Sammy Watkins, right? So come on, go ahead and
Mhm.
talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I work with a lot of guys, and they're all great dudes. I won't be around people that aren't great guys.
Yeah.
And so anybody that I'm working with, you can bet that they're a good dude.
Yeah.
I just or I won't be around them. I just won't be around them. And so everybody I've worked with, everyone that I've worked with has been great. I
Yeah.
haven't really worked with anybody who I would not work with again. Um, so I've been blessed in that way. Guys work hard because no matter what, from 12 years old to 102, everybody want to get better, then you care.
Hmm.
So guys want to get better, and if
Yeah.
and if they think you can help them get better, then they'll work.
Bingo.
What I mean? That's just I mean that's human nature. If you think somebody can help you, then you'll work. And so
100%.
I don't because people ask me, do they ever get an attitude with you? And I've never experienced that
Hmm.
because one, you know, my relationship with them and my approach doesn't really suggest that getting an attitude is going to benefit you, and they want to get better. So there's nothing to have attitude about because if you want to get better, then you open, you're a sponge anyway.
Bingo.
And
You know what I
so,
mean?
and you know what I mean. So, and we doing things that I believe in that's going to get you better. And so, it's pretty much it's a simple process as far as that's concerned. But all the pro guys have been great. Sammy Watkins, and just you can name whoever, and I name those like we're talking about big guys. Sammy's another like a real big guy who just has a combination of size, strength, and speed that is rare.
Yeah,
Tay, Dingo, like size wise, a lot of
exactly.
just that combination of like you rarely see guys at that size with
Yeah.
all three categories high level,
Hmm.
size, speed, and quickness all together in the strength. But Dingo's definitely unique in that way.
Definitely unique. I mean, just
Yeah, for sure.
a 17-year-old just seeing that, man. That my first, I was like, wait a minute, coach, you don't
Yeah,
know how.
yeah,
I was like, because I mean, like I said, I got bounced around from Chabot, DVC, all the JUCOs in the East Bay. I was commuting, taking the train from Pleasanton out here all the way from the East Bay to the South Bay, and then taking the
right.
bus to get to city. And then that was like the first practice I came in Jan, and then I just see Dingo. I mean, I'm just like, oh my
Yes,
god.
yeah, that's crazy. No, it's crazy.
But you still hug me because because Trigger's like, hey coach, you meet the new kid, like all these, like, oh, what's going on, man? Like, hey coach, we get a
Yeah,
little dap
and
you
we
up. You know what
are.
I'm saying, man? Shit.
Yeah, it's all good, but we all the same, man. We all working like Tyreek comes out here,
Yeah.
he's working out with like little kids, right? Like seventh graders.
Wow.
And so the parents are there. They kind of fired up. Reek is here like naturally, and which is good, right? Like, I mean, rightfully so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and all the parents always tell me, "Gosh, I didn't know Tyreek was like such a good guy." I said,
Yeah.
yeah, because you don't know how a guy's going to be, right? When he's a superstar, and,
Yeah.
he's around like seventh grade dudes, and they're all doing the same drills basically. And you thinking maybe the guy might have an attitude or whatever, and Reek's great with them. All of them are, and
Yeah.
so that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That part of it, because we all just trying to get better,
That's
like
all
to
it
what
is.
you're saying. We're just
Exa-
trying to get better. You know what I mean? And so it's pretty simple.
Started with you. Started with you.
Hey, I'm glad it was me. I'm glad
Exactly.
it was me. Yeah, I'm
Yeah. hundred
glad it was
percent. hundred
me.
percent. Let's see, man. But yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, we. So I never asked you who your favorite team was. Remember the DB's coach was talking all shit about the Lakers and like he said jump off that bandwagon and shit. Coach, you're from SD. Please tell me. Actually, yeah, tell me who's your NBA team and your NFL team.
Well, I don't have an NFL team anymore because
Okay.
I just know, I just root for certain dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
when I was younger, though, my team when I was younger was Lakers and Dallas.
Dallas. Yeah. Hmm.
I was a super duper Dallas fan and a super duper Laker fan.
Yeah.
My favorite basketball player to this day is Magic Johnson.
Magic still to do, man.
Magic Johnson, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd.
God, we talking about the Bay and LA legends, man. You going all the way back.
They're my three dudes right there. My favorite players: Magic Johnson, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. JK was nice. And so, are you still a Lakers fan, coach?
I am. I mean, not as much as I was. I was really, really, I was really, really I was really, really following them pretty strong. Back my younger days. But I kind of, I mean, I still like them. I still root for the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, I just like to see a good game. I kind of root for more players now than the team, but I'm always down with the Lakers. For A from Cali, I'm down with the Cali teams. I'm
100%.
down.
No, the reason
I'm down. I'm down with the Warriors too. Kings. I'm just Cali, baby.
we
Clippers. I
out here,
want to see
boy.
everybody get. Yeah, I
No,
want.
we
Yeah,
out here. Yeah.
I want to
No,
see
cause
all the
coach, cause
Cali
coach,
boys get busy.
the Cowboys get busy. Cause coach, when I was talking to Prince and DV about this shit, he's like, bro, I'm a LeBron fan, and I wasn't wearing my hat,
Bro,
but
he
he was
loves LeBron.
he loves LeBron, but he's all like, I can't do no Lakers. I hate the Lakers. I'm like, all right, one sec, bro.
Like what I mean, like yeah, like I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. Then the friends like, no, don't do it to me, man. Don't do it to me, man. I'm like, DP, you made me, bro. Like, you made me,
Hey,
bro. Like,
yeah, and he's a for real hooper too. Like he has
oh,
real
I
hoop
know.
game.
Hey,
So
for
like
full ride scholarship to Penn State Beaver. Shit, I already know. Yeah.
he's into it. Like he's got. That's all he used to talk about. We used to have serious arguments in the whiteout room about hoop. Like they'd have to come in there and like tell us like talk lower. Like we'd be in there arguing during the whiteout meeting about basketball. It was crazy.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine because DP, I see what he posts his Facebook group chats and shit on his story, and almost all the time it's either MB bat, it's either hoop or it's football or it's
bro.
Duce.
Bro, because all football players think they either could have been in the NBA or they like basketball experts.
Yeah.
And I'm included in that. I swear that I'm a basketball expert. Like I think I can be a basketball coach. So I'm down to argue with somebody about basketball all day.
Oh hell yeah, me too. Shit. I mean,
No doubt
anytime.
about it.
Yeah, I mean, anytime anyone wants something about the purple and gold, bro. Like I was fucking talking my shit from the moment Kobe, the whole incident happened earlier this year, and I drove down Staples Center for Kobe night. 5 days after that, parked at Fagoya Street, walked across the blocks and murals, got into the arena, and the ushers out there doing the tribute song, right?
Right.
And then from there to see them progress, and then the COVID hit, and then they came back in the bubble, and then to win it. Like I go hard, you know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers, I mean, they want to talk this shit. I was telling these motherfuckers, yo, man, y'all Clippers fans, y'all gonna be real disappointed, bro. Y'all gonna be real disappointed because they was talking they mess, bro. Like I was like, yo, no, 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 no. See, Clippers is cool. It's Kawhi, like I got love for Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? I got love for
Right.
Paul PG. But when it comes down to it, there's only one team, one show in LA, and you know this, coach, because you was there for Showtime.
Uh,
There's only
yeah.
one
I
show in
mean,
LA. You know what I'm saying?
everybody knows that Clippers got close. Clippers got close, and Kawhi and PG being there was supposed to be, that stepping stone to maybe finally push it over to the other direction, but it didn't happen.
No, because the fact that when you look at their team, and this is what I was saying, when once we got Keith and they got Marcus, Doc didn't know what to do with the bench rotation because you got Shamit, Lou, and Marcus trying to
Right.
come off the bench, and then you don't know who to go to in the fourth. The Lakers get Markeith. That's all they needed because they already had their bench and they had the
Right. Right.
chemistry.
Right.
And so all
Right.
you have to do at this point is just attack Lou every time, and we did that. Chicken wing loop, coach.
Yeah.
Chicken wing loop.
Yeah. See, I know PG because he was at Fresno State
I know.
when I was there.
I know.
When I was
Yeah.
there, so I
Yeah.
I ended up being kind of buddies with him. He was a really good player there, and he used to have basketball camps or coaching basketball camps in the summer, and my son would go to them.
Yeah.
And so I ended up being cool with PG. He's a good dude.
Mhm.
And Kawhi went to San Diego State, so I saw him play
Yeah.
when he was at San Diego State. I was in San Diego during the time he was there, and so I went to a couple games. I saw him play, so I got love for Kawhi too. Aztecs, baby.
Yeah, Aztecs, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
SDSU, baby. And I mean, you
yes,
alumni. You know what I'm saying? So
no doubt about it. No
no
doubt
doubt
about
about
it.
it.
So
You gonna throw up the A Rod quick? A Aztecs.
yeah,
I mean, just
Hey, Aztecs, baby. Yeah,
yeah.
they know.
You know what I mean? But I mean, no, I mean to your point, coach. I mean, like you see, that's the thing. I don't have anything against either player. I just know that the Lakers right now we're primed to fucking repeat, and we're primed to maybe even three-peat, depending on kind of how the season goes.
No, you're right.
Rob Palinka is doing what no GM is doing because what he's doing is he's waiting for the cheapest free agent for the best return to come on the buyout market. That motherfucker ain't
Right.
gonna he ain't gonna break the bank for Marcus Morris. He ain't gonna break the bank for Lou Will or fucking PG. He's just gonna wait. He's gonna wait, and then once that one, and then boom. Because all we need,
Yeah.
if you listen to my previous episodes, coach, I've just been ranting about this shit. We just need one solid big to back up Gasol. Because Gasol ain't gonna be playing 48 minutes a night for like 82
Nah.
games. LeBron ain't gonna be doing that. They're
Right.
both gonna be 36. Them motherfuckers gonna be sitting. So you just
Right.
need some guys
Right.
to rotate. You know?
No, you're right. You're right. You got to be smart.
Yeah. So yeah, no. I mean, you're not gonna be in the NBA. Shit, coaching.
No doubt about it. They just got to
Easy.
call us.
Yes, exactly.
They just got to call us. We're ready already.
We
They just
ready,
got to call
baby.
us. Yeah.
We ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah. Yeah.
man. Shit, man. How are you going time or what?
Yeah. What time is it? Oh,
It's
it's 10.
uh,
It's 10 out. It's 10 out here.
yeah, it's 10. It's 10:17
Yeah.
over there. It's 8. Yeah, it's 8:17 over here.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's all good, man. I'm just gonna probably go up here and grab me a little ice cream dessert right quick and get ready to shut it down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I really appreciate.
Wind down.
I mean, coach, it feels like kind of when I'm talking DP, now I'm talking to you. It feels like we never missed a beat, man. Like it feels like 12
Hey,
years is just, you know what I mean?
stay in touch, and you know what I mean. Like I come back on whatever.
Oh yeah,
Just
no,
hit
I
me
got
up.
you, coach. No, I got you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hit you up. Brett's come on next week. Maybe you come on next week again if you want. I don't know. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like can more we can't all be on at the same time, can we?
Mhm.
Yeah, we can.
Ye-
It's Zoom, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, so it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like if hit Swain, if I mean if like however you thinking about it, we can get. I'll get on with Swain if that's what you
Sure.
if that's what you thinking.
Nah, man, shit, we could do that three-way. You know,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
thinking maybe the first episode to have Swain, and the main next one we'll have
Right, right.
everyone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah,
Just let me know.
I got you,
Yeah, we
coach.
can.
Oh,
Yeah, we can.
let's do one with Deep with Prince, DP.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
cause no,
I got.
we need to talk some shit.
And I got some stories about Prince that I could tell while he's there.
I'm with it.
Sure,
Shit.
for sure. I got some stories about Prince, so that'll work. Yeah, let me know, bro. I mean, we reconnected now, so we can do it however we want to do it.
100%, coach. No, I got you, man. And
Yeah,
appreciate you coming on. Tell my listeners, that was my college coach, Coach K Dubb, Keith Williams, man who I first ever got to play football with. You know, first man to teach me everything, coach. Everything you did for me, I can't. I mean, I cannot put into words. You know, the fact that opportunity, how it drove me. You know, to kind of get to where I am today. And you know, obviously, you're continuing doing great things at a much higher level. I mean, you're always doing things at a high level, but I just think it's admirable to see kind of your approach, your philosophy hasn't changed since, and just keep
right.
doing the good to keep doing your good work. You know what I'm saying? So
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it, man. Good talking to you. We
yeah,
reconnected now, so let's stay in touch and keep on going forward.
100%, coach. You know we're gonna do it. So that's how
That'll
we
work.
do it. Exactly.
Oh,
Ah, coach.
all right, babe.
Ah, baby. I take care.
Yep.
Like.